Okay, on the first lesson we're going to do today is on Cain coming to this place called the land of Nod, east of Eden. This is after he was cast out from the presence of the Almighty. And I've had a lot of people ask me, where's the land of Nod at? Well, it tells you right there it's east of Eden, but it's not an actual place. The word Nod is a Hebrew word, and it just simply means wandering. And so what it's saying right there is that Cain went out from the presence of the Almighty and dwelt in the land of Nod. In other words, he was wandering around the land, and the place he was wandering around at was east of Eden, the Garden of Eden. And so it's really not a city or anything or a town. It just simply means Cain was wandering around east of Eden. And there he met his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And everybody knows that Enoch was a prophet. And there Cain built a city. So the city that was there was built afterwards. He came to the land of Nod, and he named that city Enoch after his own son. And then I've had people ask me, well, where in the world did Cain's wife come from? Well, let's go back a little bit and I'll show you. Okay, if you'll read right here in verse 20, it says, "And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all that were living." So all the people that were living on the earth at that time, Eve was their mother. Okay, right here on the next chapter, chapter 4, it says, "And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Almighty. And she bore again, and this time his brother Abel. And Abel was the keeper of the sheep, and Cain was the tiller of the ground." Now, up here, where we were just at, on 20 of chapter 3, verse 20, it says that Adam called his wife Eve because she was the mother of all that were living. So at this time, all Eve is doing is giving birth to girls. Lots and lots and lots of girls. And then down here, on chapter 4, it says that for the very first time, she begot a man from the Lord, or from the Almighty. So Cain's wife was actually his sister. And some people say, well, that's incest. Well, actually, no, it's not. Because at this time, the only sin there was, or the only commandment, was that you do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Of course, we know that that Adam and Eve had already done that and been cast out of the garden. But that was the only sin there was. And until the Almighty speaks that out of his mouth, it is not a sin. But once he speaks it out of his mouth, then it becomes sin. So during the time that Adam and Eve were in the garden, the only commandment there was do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And we're going to learn about that tree, how that tree got there, where it came from. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you learned something. And until next time, thanks for watching.